Viewers, I am in the United States of America, in Washington DC. As you well aware that I am running a channel called Law Speeches, in which in my channel I am regularly posting lectures on various aspects of law as well as the world affairs. So today, while I am glancing to the newspaper, I find out a famous observation made by the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Sri Suryakant ji, in which he is making a suggestion that why we should not have the 24 into 7 courts like the hospitals to remove the pendency of the cases. Yes, it is very good suggestion, but it requires a lot of infrastructure, lot of budgetary allocations on part of the union government as well as the state governments. If you delve into pendency of the suits are concerned in India, there are around 56 million cases have been pending at subordinate courts to the Supreme Court level, of which 85% of cases are at the subordinate level. That means lower courts, district courts, like the trial courts, where much of the pendency is there. And one more interesting aspect is that we have the 1 million, 10 lakhs population, there is only 10 judges are available in India. That is very, very low as compared to world standards. In addition to it, the government is a major litigant for the pendency of the cases are concerned. 50% of cases are the government is a party. If it is disposed at government level, we could considerably decrease the pendency of cases in the various courts. And there is a popular practice is that in India, if you go to every court, you could see the tarik-pe-tarik concept, means date to date adjournments without any reason the courts have been granting to the parties. That is a not good phenomenon. We should curb the unnecessary adjournments to lessen the burden of the pendencies concerned. Then, if you go to Tahsil courts, municip courts, lower courts, or even in some cases in district level, you could not see the proper infrastructure facilities. Everything is a haywire. Nobody bothers. Should be a tempo of court atmosphere should be there. Court management should be in a perfect manner. Then, what are the reforms we have to make for improving the judicial system in India is concerned? That we have to allocate the resources in expeditious manner. You take the union budget allocations are concerned in 2026, 50.65 lakh crores have been allocated to the judiciary. So that is very, very low. That is 0.08 to 0.1% of the total GDP is concerned. Not even it is 1%. Then if the government expenditure is concerned, it is a 0.3 to 0.4%, whereas in case of the judiciary, it is a very, very meager percentage is there allocated for the judiciary. Judiciary is also part and parcel of the government. It is having the three wings: legislature, executive, and judiciary. The Constitution of India provides special status to judiciary. But in case of allocations are concerned, it has to depend upon the states. For namesake, it is a special status, but it has to see to the government for allocation. So that is one of the major reason for the pendency of the suits in India is concerned, where on account of what is happening, that there is a erosion of confidence upon the judicial system. If you go and ask any common man, they fear to go to courts. The first thing they get that if you go to the courts, they may cause inordinate delay and expensive. We have the famous concept called the justice delayed is justice denied. So that is happening in our country. So Suryakant ji is right. 24/7 courts should be there like the hospitals. But is it practical? Is it possible? Sometimes back there was a proposal in Estival, Andhra Pradesh, that court should be work up to 9 o'clock in the evening, but that has not been implemented. And other thing is that the courts have lot of holidays. Around 2 to 2.5 months they go for holidays. So that is not good. So that also one way or the other leading to the pendency of the suits. But I am not saying that they should not given the holidays, because your holidays may create a rejuvenation of the judges, a kind of a psychological boost, because the judges they work, overtime work. They may need the family gatherings, they may need friends gathering. So it is one way or the other, maybe psychologically a cascading effects upon the performance of the judges is concerned. Then if you go to the some Supreme Court cases, like the famous case of the Husinora cartoon versus state of Bihar, where Supreme Court has clearly stated that justice delayed is justice denied. And we have the Article 21, where life and personal liberties have been guaranteed to the every citizen of India. It is a fundamental right. If there is a delay, means it is nothing but violation of the fundamental right. So that should not be there. And the speedy justice is a fundamental right. And in one more case called here Antule versus Oris Noyak case also, Supreme Court has identified that speedy justice is enshrined in our Constitution of India. Without speedy justice, may the confidence upon the judiciary may be eroded. People are afraid to go to the courts, are afraid to come to the courts. That was stated in these landmark judgments. Then the judges should see that there should be restoration of the confidence. There should not be allow for the frequent adjournments. Tarik-pe-tarik has to be abandoned. Like if you go to some Western countries like United States of America and some other countries, there the judges, at the time of filing of the case itself, all the steps would be framed. From the filing date to the ending date, there is a dates have been framed. As per the dates only, they have to give the judgments. Only in extraordinary conditions only the adjournments will be given. Not on a simple pretext matters. Even some lawyers also have been responsible for the delay of justice is concerned because they resort to adjournment after the adjournment. That should not be there. That may ultimately loses the confidence of the public upon the judiciary. That we should not allow at any cost. Then, the Law Commission of India, one of the premier body which advises upon the various matters pertaining to law in India is concerned, where it also stated that advised that 1% of GDP should be allocated for the judiciary. Without that, we should not expect any major changes may happen in the judiciary. That was the major recommendation made by the Law Commission of India in India is concerned. Then the judges' vacancies should be quickly filled up. Without that, will not be possible. Recently we have in Supreme Court we have seen the judges' strength have been increased to the 33 to 37, but it not to Supreme Court, it every level. The judges' strength has to be, vacancies should be filled up quickly, and there on account only we can build the confidence upon the public. Then we have the improving technology in judicial disposal is concerned. We have number of projects have been undertaken by the union government as well as the Supreme Court of India, like e-courts concept and some other concepts are there. So technology should be evolved. That may lead to early disposal of the cases. And mere evolvement is not sufficient. We have to provide liberal funding to such technological projects. Maybe e-courts, court project missions, all should be liberally funded, because it is the duty of the government to provide or render the justice to all. That also been there under the part 4th of the Constitution of India, which be concerns with the directive principal state policies. Maybe they are not justifiable, but a duty is castigated upon the government to provide the render the justice as early as possible. So, so recently, even the courts have been appointing the ad hoc judges that at the high court levels. But what about the subordinate courts? The common man only basically concerns with the subordinate courts. A common man cannot go to higher level. Only in exceptional cases only they will go to the higher courts or supreme courts. So we have to fulfill the needs of the common man. So common man, so there we have to reform the entire system. Particularly, we have to focus upon the lower judiciary or subordinate judiciary for building the confidence of the people upon the judiciary. The suggestions made by the Honorable Justice Suryakant ji is highly respected and welcomed, but it requires funding. It requires major overhauling the system, and it requires cooperation of the bar and bench. Then only we can render the justice to the common man in a time. Otherwise, the justice delayed is justice denied. This will be there. And there is one other estimate says that if the total pendency of the suits are there in India, it takes about another 50 years for total disposal. So we have to urgently embark upon these aspects by the we have to focus upon these aspects and to see that the Honorable Chief Justice wish may become into true in near short. So thank you for patiently hearing my observations from the United States of America. Thank you, one and all.